Here inside of Visual Studio, I have all of the markup that is required to display that page that is on the right-hand side of the screen. And currently, there are no styles defined except for 2 different background colors. And what I'd like to do throughout the rest of this module is use some of the things that we're learning about fonts to improve the display of this page. Right now, it feels like the header is a little bit too large. It feels like the code that is in the middle of that page is hard to read because it's not formatted the way I expect. Those are the types of changes we're going to be making. But before we do that, I want you to take a close look at that web page and tell me what category of font is being used. I think it's a serif font. It's the default font, actually, that both Chrome and Internet Explorer would use to display this web page unless I style it differently. And remember that I said that, generally speaking, a sans serif font is going to be easier to read, so that's one of the first changes we're going to make. However, that is a subject for debate. What you could do is go around to some of your favorite sites and see what type of font they're using and come to a decision about what you think is the cleanest. I think what's interesting is that if you look at sites like Twitter, they're obviously using a sans serif font. If you look at a site like Google, the search results and the text on the side, that's all sans serif. But when you go to a website that behind it is a company that is used to print media, for instance, Smithsonian.com. Smithsonian.com is the website for the Smithsonian Magazine. They are using a font that would fall in the serif category. Also, the Washington Post, which is a newspaper, they're using a font that would match what they use in print. Serif fonts are very popular in print. I do think this might be something particular to news articles. What's interesting is if you go to a site like Yahoo, then a lot of the text that you see throughout their site is a sans serif font. But when you drill down into a news article on the Yahoo site, suddenly they changed over into a serif font. Let's take a look at what happens on our page if we change the font here. So I'm going to go in and say that the font family, and I'll pick sans serif, and you can see the different feel that gives to the web page. Let's also try monospace. The code looks better, but everything else looks worse. Let's also try fantasy. That's very difficult to read. And let's try cursive. And I think, given those options, let's go back to this setting for right now.